Now for the news in detail. President Rajapaksa has emphasized that the country will not be betrayed at any time with the purpose of surmounting challenges.
Mind චින්තනය මම 2005 ඉදිරිපත් කරනකොට 2005 මේ මැතිවරණය ජයග්‍රහණය කරනකොට ඔබ බලාපොරොත්තු වුණේ එකයි. මේ රට එක්සේසත් කරන්න. එතකොට මේ රට
The president said when he released the Mahinda Chintana in 2005 and secured victory in the election during that year, his target was to unite the country. The country was broken into pieces at that time. Leaders of the country were afraid of describing them as terrorists. They saw the terrorists as liberators. He pointed out that the rebuilding task was vested on him. Initially, he had to change the opinion of the world. Thereafter, they had to change the mentality of the people and the forces. Governments which were unable to build even culverts or bridges at that time, they were able to change that concept. While the war was being waged, work on the Upper Kutmale project was mooted, although previous regimes did not embark on the project in fear of losing votes. He had to decide whether he was to draw his attention to the vote or the development of the country. He said he gave priority to the needs of the people. His stand was that the country should develop whether he lost votes. He pointed out that all this work was being carried out for the benefit of the future generation. The president was addressing a mammoth gathering in Kotte. It was organized by Minister Rohitha Bogalagama. Addressing amidst response from the people, the president said that he resumed development projects which had been abandoned by previous regimes, not by considering votes. His government was able to generate more jobs, taking development to the village, which was hitherto restricted to the urban areas. The country's development has been accelerated, building harbors and power plants. The president emphasized that he sought loans for the development of the country. His main intention was to assure a high standard of living to every person, enhancing their per capita income.
කොළඹ දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ තුල සුවිශේෂ වෙනසක් ලබා ගැනීමේ පරම අවස්ථාව දැන් උදා වෙලා තිබෙනවා.
Addressing the gathering, Minister Rohitha Bogalagama said the opportunity to make a significant change within the Colombo district has dawned. Whatever conspiracies were planned by the opposition in the world, giving aid to Sri Lanka by many countries, including those in the European Union, has increased.
The second court-martial assembled this morning to consider charges against former army commander Sarath Fonseca. When the sittings commenced, the judges said that although there was a possibility of the judges who appeared in the first court-martial to sit in the second court-martial, it was requested from the authority to reconsider the appointment of the judges, considering it as a special case. The judges requested to take up this consideration to consolidate the transparency of the hearing. Accordingly, military spokesman Major General Prasad Samarsingh said the second court-martial was postponed. Charges against the procurement of military hardware contravening the laws while Sarath Fonseca was serving in the army were taken up today. He is facing 4 charges in this respect. The Colombo Fort Magistrate has reissued a warrant for the arrest of Dhamma Tilakaratna, the son-in-law of Sarath Fonseca. The CID told courts that Dhamma Tilakaratna is still in hiding in Sri Lanka. Colombo Fort Magistrate Lanka Jaratna took up a case pertaining to an alleged financial fraud by HighCorp Limited, in which he is the prime suspect. The CID informed the magistrate that the suspect was using global roaming facilities to give the impression that he was not in the island. However, police have found evidence that he was still in the country, the CID said, and produced a report of several locations which he had frequented. The magistrate ordered the police to submit a detailed investigation report on the 31st of this month and further remanded a director of HighCorp Limited, Wellington de Hoyt, until the next hearing. The chief security officer of the Cinnamon Lakeside Hotel has been remanded. The Colombo Fort Magistrate today remanded him until the 31st of this month. He has been remanded for alleged deleting the data from the security camera sets of the hotel on the 26th and 27th of January. Sarath Fonseca had been confined to this hotel on these 2 days after the presidential polls, allegedly stating that he had been under house arrest. The police arrested 3 suspects on suspicion for conspiring to overthrow the government on the 27th of January. You're watching Prime TV News and still with news at home. The Elections Commissioner has ruled out the possibility of having foreign observers at counting centres in the upcoming polls. He had stated that none of the political parties had made such a request on nominations day. The UNP had sent an official request in writing to Elections Chief today, requesting for foreign monitors to be present in counting centres to ensure the accuracy of results that will be released. However, the Elections Chief ruled out such a possibility, stating that the UNP should have made this request on the nomination day. A program is being planned to improve all Catholic schools of the Gampaha district. This program was discussed by Gampaha District United People's Freedom Alliance leader Basil Rajapaksa during a meeting with Archbishop of Colombo, Right Reverend Dr. Malcolm Ranjit. The meeting took place at the Archbishop's house today. The talks focused on particularly the Catholic schools of the district, upgrading their education standards and meeting all facilities required for the education of the children. The living standards of the shanty dwellers also came up for discussion. Uplifting their living standards and the provision of sanitary facilities to improve their health standards drew special attention. The meeting adverted attention on building housing schemes and flats to house the slum dwellers. Improving the income of the low-income group, Fisher fraternity within the district was another topic to which they drew their attention. In addition, Basil Rajapaksa and the Archbishop talked about the resettlement of all the IDPs in the north. Reverend Father Ivan Pereira and Reverend Father Sunil De Silva joined in this discussion. The Defence Secretary has called upon the war heroes to take the lead in safeguarding the victory achieved through supreme sacrifices within 30 years. The function was organized to mark the 30th anniversary of the regiment and to unveil the war memorial. This took place at the regimental headquarters in Ganemulla amidst religious observances. The war memorial is inscribed with names of all fallen heroes. The Defence Secretary laid a floral wreath afterwards at the foot of the monument and paid his tribute to the heroes who made supreme sacrifices. Army Commander Lieutenant General Jagat Jayasuriya, Army Operations Director Major General Shavendra Silva and Head of the Singha Regiment Major General L.H.S.C. Silva were present on this occasion. The livelihoods of the people of Thuppigala have been upgraded. They have been assured of a better living. Thuppigala was liberated from the terrorists. However, at that time, it is not a secret what the opposition leader said. He described it as a thick forest. Basil Rajapaksa made a vital contribution in the implementation of the Easter Resurgence program with the knowledge of the President. This helped to accelerate the development of Thuppigala. Also, the Sri Lanka Army contributed immensely for the development activities. It is the 23rd Brigade which is supporting agricultural activities in Thuppigala. They have won the hearts of the people by supporting them in the processing of the land for agriculture until the harvest is reaped. Sri Lanka has decided to lift restrictions on private flying and open up her skies for recreational aviation to low tourists after the end of the war.
Director General of Civil Aviation Parakrama Disanayake said the decision was taken at a meeting between civil aviation authorities and the Air Force last week. Disanayake said the authorities had been getting inquiries from tourists keen on bringing their own equipment for use in the island. Hot air ballooning, use of hang gliders and powered gliders, and flying microlight aircraft and model aircraft are among the recreational aviation. Hot air ballooning was allowed a few years ago but restricted to certain parts of the island. Disanayake said they want to revive an open skies scheme started in November 2006 in the island's south and extend it to the entire island, although some airspaces over certain areas like defense installations and ports would still be restricted.
We now bring you the foreign currency updates. Up next is Prime World.